Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our Thursday lecture today. The first thing that students often hear about American higher education is that it's expensive and they give up on their dream before it's even begun. So, can you really afford to study in the US? Is it possible to make your dream of going to an American college or university a reality without breaking the bank? So, absolutely. And the first step is to find out early about the different ways to finance your education in the USA. Today, I'm really glad to welcome our guest, Miss Nelly, who is going to talk about preparation to the education in the United States. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in our YouTube channel or Facebook pages, and we will come to them a bit later. So thank you, Nelly, for joining, and the floor is yours.
Good morning from the Maryland in the United States. I realize it is afternoon there in Ukraine, but what a privilege. My name is Nellie Farmaletta, and I am the Assistant Director for International Student Services at the Community College of Baltimore County. CCBC is one of Maryland's largest community colleges with over 200 degrees and certificates. But my role today is not only to tell you about CCBC, but a collective of colleges known as Study Maryland. In other words, we want you to leave the presentation today knowing that you have a choice of type of institution, location, affiliation, and costs. So I'll try to answer as many of your questions as I can today. And again, thank you for this opportunity, Ms. Oksana. So here is our presentation. We're going to talk about education as an investment because, of course, your education will change the trajectory of you and your family. This is what families have paid and prayed for centuries, that you'd have a chance to follow your goals, your dreams, your God-given talent. So I'm excited today to talk to you about the investment of time and money required to be successful in a U.S. college. Next slide. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about who and what is Study Maryland. Of course, I'm trying to convince you to study in the United States and in Maryland in particular. We will talk time and money, and then I'll introduce you briefly to the 13 institutions that are part of Study Maryland. Okay, who is Study Maryland? So, Study Maryland is a collective of 13 Maryland institutions. We are English language programs, associate degree granting community colleges. We are baccalaureate degree granting 4-year institutions. Also, those institutions include opportunities to earn your master's degree and PhD. But we are a collective that recruits together, we do research together, and it's our privilege today to show you the state of Maryland and the opportunities here. Next slide. Why study in the US? Because it's the best. Okay, because as you know, a college degree from the United States of America is recognized worldwide. We do have a fine system. You do have an opportunity to earn everything from an associate's degree all the way through a doctorate degree. And the emphasis in the United States educational training is on both practical application and theory. So our colleges train everyone from those who are first responders, like nurses and EMTs, to those who are famous researchers around the world addressing global warming or creating safer electricity. So the advantage, of course, of a U.S. degree is not only your chance to study, but a chance to apply that knowledge. So access, technology, and opportunity are reasons why many students choose to earn a degree in the United States. Next slide. Why Maryland? Because we're the best state. Okay, so in a moment, I'll show you pictures of this beautiful little state known as Maryland. Maryland is on the United States eastern seaboard. If you're familiar, we are about an hour's drive north of Washington, D.C., which is the nation's capital, and about 3 hours drive south of New York City. We would jokingly say that most people know where New York and Washington are because, they have good TV shows, but there's no great TV show about Maryland. Still, I'll try to convince you that this is a great place to study because of our highly ranked universities and colleges, because you will find diverse international and immigrant communities, because Maryland is a world leader in medical technologies. Of course, Johns Hopkins University is here. We are world renowned for our transportation expertise because of our location on the eastern seaboard. We have Baltimore Washington International Airport, an extensive railway system, and our shipping port at Baltimore is unparalleled. Of course, we have wonderful tech companies here, everything from Lockheed Martin to others. So many people choose Maryland because it's a wonderful little state with great opportunities and safe communities. Next slide. So I need to tell you where Maryland is in case you were a little unclear. So here we are on the eastern seaboard, as I said, about an hour's drive north from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and about 3 hours drive south from New York City. Our location on the eastern seaboard means that you can literally go to the mountains in the western part of the state in the afternoon, or go to the beach on the eastern seaboard where Marylanders are in love with their seafood and oceans. So if you are looking for a diverse place to study, where the weather is literally almost different every day, where there's so many opportunities, and you will see people from around the world, Maryland is that diverse and interesting and fascinating place to study and work. Next slide. And it's beautiful, literally. So today, here, November 10th, we're expecting about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. That is a normal temperature on a November day. And the trees are turning gorgeous golden orange and red. And so it is a beautiful place, temperate, moderate temperatures. Generally, we don't have a lot of cold weather until January and February. But again, if you are looking for a great place to study, both from an economic standpoint, academic standpoint, or even just to enjoy our beauty, I invite you to Maryland. Next slide. So let's talk about time and money. Often I find that international students are not aware that the process to study in the United States is regulated by the federal government. That said, there are some very distinct steps that every student must take if they plan to study in the United States. And then, of course, I hope to focus on what about those steps is unique to Maryland. But let me start with a broader, more general step back. And this is to every potential college student and every parent listening. The most valuable thing that you can do as you invest, remember we said this was an investment, in a college education in Maryland, in the United States, in any country on the planet, is to do some research, wait, about your gifts and interests. I've had the privilege of doing this job for the last 32 years here in the state of Maryland. And I am clear that each one of us is here for a purpose, divinely designed. And so the thing that you were born to do, made to do, America believes a lot in freedom and choice. This is the opportunity to invest in yourself with a college education. So I'll show you briefly, with the help of Miss Oksana, not just yet, but I'll show you, for example, a research tool that will help you identify your gifts and interests. Are you a doctor? Are you a lawyer? Are you a brilliant writer? Are you an artist? Are you a historian? And so I have watched people struggle in the major that their parents chose for them, sorry parents, or in the major that their brother told them to be, sorry siblings, when truly they were gifted and designed to do something quite the opposite. So began with a conversation, if you were blessed to still be in high school, with a college and career counselor. Even on my college's webpage, you will find a research tool that will help you identify your gifts and strengths. Some of us are bankers, some of us are singers, some of us are neither. And so the most valuable thing you can do is first identify your passion, your goal, your gift. That said, there's time to do some research to identify which college will help you pursue that goal, that gift. I'm happy to say that here at Study Maryland, we will put you in contact with a college advisor after you've identified whether or not you want to study history, art, math. Wait, do you want an associate's degree in that? Do you want a bachelor's degree in that? Is your goal ultimately to earn a PhD? And which college in Maryland has that credential? Clearly, our goal is to make sure that you invest your time and money wisely. First, by finding out what it is that you want to do, and then, with the help of other educational professionals like myself, guiding you to the right college to help you pursue that gift. This is not a small matter and takes time, but it is, as I said, an investment. So let's say that you are this gifted artist, and we have decided that you need to attend College Park, where they have a University of Maryland College Park, where they have a robust PhD program in art. Okay, thanks to Study Maryland, we'll connect you with their admissions office. Perhaps if you are planning a visit to the United States or want a virtual visit, we connect you with that advisor, those faculty. This would be your opportunity to look at costs, application deadlines. Are there standardized courses? Are standardized test scores? Are there interest essays required? Is there a certain GPA? And clearly, all along, you and your family will be examining the cost. Let me talk for a moment about cost, because I know this is the point where all parents are listening, which is to say, as you investigate what you want to study, and we help you connect to where it is that you want to study, and you are aware of the deadlines and requirements to be allowed to study there, the cost, of course, is a factor. What you should remember is that a requirement of the United States federal government to be granted an F1, that is a student visa, is that you and your family can demonstrate that you have at least 1 year of funding for that degree. You must demonstrate this through bank statements and bank letters. And so part of being granted a student visa in the United States is financial preparation. For example, at my community college, the Community College of Baltimore County, the student seeking an F1 visa must present to the U.S. Consulate Office and to the college evidence that they have 26,411 US dollars in checking or savings or money market account. This is the cost, the investment required by the federal government to know that you are serious about studying and earning a degree in the United States. For my institution, the Community College of Baltimore County. Of course, graduate school can be more expensive, and our four-year partners, I'll explain, those that award the baccalaureate bachelor's degree, their cost might be as high as 46,000 at Towson University, 30,000 at Goucher University, or 44,000 at the University of Maryland of Baltimore County. Again, while we'll have a chance to talk about scholarships, I want to reiterate you must financially prepare in order to be granted an F1 visa, student visa, by the federal government. Knowing the costs, being prepared to meet the costs is probably more than half the battle. Are there scholarships? Yes. However, you will find that much of the funding relates to once you're here on campus, having earned great GPAs, you might qualify for honor scholarships. You may qualify for athletic scholarships. You may find as a graduate student, there are teaching and research assistantships that will help you with the cost. But to be clear, you will not find 100% scholarships as an F1 international student because the government is aware that as an F1 visa holder, you cannot work full time off campus and you are required to be a full time student. So, to reiterate, follow your joy by researching your career interests, your goals. Contact us as we help you, along with a research tool you'll see in a moment, identify where the college is that has your goal and interest, your dream degree. While you look across the choice, and the United States is more than 10,000 colleges and universities. What a big choice. But as you narrow down your choice, you are ready to apply to that college knowing their deadlines, their academic and financial requirements. This is the investment that you're making in yourself, and we will gladly at Study Maryland partner with you while you take this journey with us. I expect more questions about this when we get to Q&A, but for now, Ms. Oksana will move on to the next slide. So again, take the time. First, know yourself, interests, goals, strengths. Most colleges and universities have over 200 degrees study. So yes, we have your major. The real question is, do you know what you want to study? Ms. Oksana is going to take us to a page now where you can see a Study Maryland tool to help you identify your goals and interests. Ms. Oksana? Awesome. So on the Study Maryland website, where we have provided the link in this presentation, you can literally enter the type of degree you're interested in pursuing. In this example, we've chosen engineering, but you are welcome, encouraged, invited to use this tool after my presentation today, all day, every day, as you research your goal, your gift, your interest. Is it hospitality management? Is it math? Is it art? Is it history? But in the case of engineering, we've entered simply the word engineering, and you can see from this list the breadth and type of engineering programs offered in the state of Maryland. Do you want a doctorate in nuclear engineering at College Park? Do you want electrical engineering associate's degree at my community college? Are you interested in something called material science and engineering at College Park? The list goes on and on. Please take the time to prepare to use this search tool and others. After you've identified your gift, your goal, your talent, take the time to identify where you will find your path to that goal and degree, and we will assist you. That is the goal of Study Maryland, to connect you with those admissions officers, those faculty members who can tell you more about the degree requirements, how rigorous the program is, and how this will benefit you in your long term goal and career. We're excited to watch you make this investment, to watch you do this research, and to walk along beside you as you do this. Please understand that when you talk to a college admissions officer, we want to know why you're passionate about studying a particular degree and why you're passionate about being at our university. Literally not taking the time to prepare and know this would be like walking into an airport and saying to the person at the front counter, "I'd like to catch a plane." Really? Which plane? To where? Will you return? So take the time, do the research, and it is our privilege to partner with you while you identify your goal, gift, and talent and the right college and program for you. Next slide. So, we talked about having a choice. And today I'll just show you briefly that around the state of Maryland, there are many institutions with specializations, different levels of degrees. Do you want a small institution? Are you interested in, for example, our private institutions like Goucher, Loyola, and Washington College? In the case of Goucher, for example, every student has a study abroad experience. Are you interested in a smaller classroom with 20 seats? Or soon, I'll talk about College Park, where your history class will literally have 200 people. Are you interested in a religiously affiliated institution? Are you looking for something that's co ed? So, again, the choice is yours. After you've done the research of what you want to study, we'll show you the buffet or menu of institutions in Maryland where you will find your dream degree. Next slide. Let me talk for a moment about community colleges, because even US parents don't always know the benefit, the transition, the connection between earning a 2 year associate's degree prior to transferring to a 4 year baccalaureate experience. Here in the United States, you will find two-year institutions that are open enrollment, which is to say, there is no required standardized tests to be admitted to these institutions. Many students, international and US born, choose community colleges because of their small size, their emphasis on teaching, their emphasis on preparation, their lower cost, and a sophisticated system here in Maryland of transfer to our four-year institutions. So, again, if you are looking for an institution which might impact you in terms of cost and size, teaching style and transferability, career preparation, community college might be an excellent choice for you. I proudly say in my 13th year of working for a Maryland community college. Next slide. If you're interested in the huge, world renowned research institutions, I invite you to consider Towson University, the University of Maryland in Baltimore County, and the state's flagship institution, the University of Maryland College Park. These are the college experiences that you see on TV with the big sports teams and bands, Research One institutions, and they have much to offer. Leaders nationally and internationally teach, train, and work at our four-year institutions. Next slide. Then there is Morgan State University. If you are familiar at all with U.S. history, and I hope you will read and know, especially if you plan to study here, the United States, prior to the end of the Civil War, what has had an economy based on slavery and enslavement. And after the end of our Civil War, our institutions were segregated by race. Proudly, today there are more than 110 historically Black colleges and universities. Morgan State here in Baltimore, Maryland, is one of our leading research institutions with a proud heritage. Today, these institutions are open to everyone, regardless of race. But I will share with you, as an American of African descent, we are proud to share this history, this legacy, the leadership that has evolved in the United States for African Americans has come largely from our historically Black colleges and universities. Next slide. It is my hope today that I have piqued your interest, encouraged you to do some research, first by investing in yourself, determining your goals, your dreams. Maybe you'll take the career interest inventory on our website. Maybe you'll talk with a career counselor there at your high school. Or my personal favorite, you'll speak with your favorite aunt tonight because she knows your gift and talent. Your parents are too highly motivated for you to leave home. But after you've had this conversation, we're identifying a few areas that you're really passionate about researching and studying. Please email us. The first email address belongs to my colleague, Mr. Jose Infante from Towson University, as I mentioned, one of our larger four-year institutions. Mr. Infante is also the recruitment chair for Study Maryland. So our goal always is to connect you to the right institution based upon cost, size, location, your major. The second email address is mine, nfarmaletta@ccbcmd.edu. Do email me directly with your questions. That way I can tell you which plane to get on, right? I wouldn't be able to answer your individual questions in this presentation, but it would be my privilege to communicate with you via email, one-on-one. And then feel free, absolutely, to email info at Study Maryland if you are interested in learning more about any of the 13 institutions and scheduling tours, virtual visits. Please let us know how we can help. Again, feel free to email us. It is our joy, our privilege to help you take the time and money to find out what your goal and your gift will be. Honestly, a college education is a chance to contribute in the world. How will Ukraine, the US, the world be better because of your choice? So, next slide, I just want to say thank you. It is always my privilege to speak to students in person or virtually in the US, in the Ukraine, because we know that you are creating a better future for us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nelly. Thank you for this wonderful presentation. So, guys who are watching us right now, don't worry if you missed some information in the beginning because everything will be saved, of course. But if you have any questions, put them in the chat. And we have the first question from Maria. What is the maximum possible cost of studying can be covered by scholarships for F1 student? Good question.
Miss Maria, I understand and respect your question. And thank you, hopefully, that you heard me that while you can't expect 100% of the cost to be covered by scholarships, there are many institutions here in Maryland that offer generous scholarships. In the case of Towson University, right now, I'm thinking of Goucher as well, that will really help you with almost up to a third, maybe even half. And a lot of the scholarships are driven based upon what it is that you want to study. So, again, graduate students who are doing specified research can expect assistantships. Athletes who can run and move fast, I can read quickly. If you're athletic, perhaps you will earn an athletic scholarship. It is literally a matter of identifying your gift, your goal, your talent, the right school, and then drilling down to see what is available for a runner who's an excellent engineer or a mathematician who can also act. So based upon your gifts and talents, you will find scholarships. I just always want to set the realistic expectation that there's not 100% funding for international study. If there was, I'd be in Italy cooking right now. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, in a culinary arts program. Anyway, great question, Miss Maria. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's actually the very popular question about financial aid from our students. So yeah, that's obvious. It seems to me that Study Maryland has the same goal as Education USA. So you also advise students, you help them to enter the universities, colleges in US. So that's wonderful. Thank you for that. And the question, like from me, how often do you work with international students, or like you advise only local students?
Oh, thank you. So it is my privilege. Like I said, for the last 13 years, I talk with international students every day. If I am answering an email or looking up from the front counter or picking up the phone, I am answering the question of sponsors, of international students. How do I apply to OPT? Can I ever work off campus? Yesterday's question was, which IT course should I take? So the fun part about my talking with you is this is what I do every day. And on the lesson of gifts, I have 2 degrees in business before I figured out that I was an educator. But my mother's older sister said I was a teacher. More on that later. So it is wonderful. It is a privilege that I get to speak to international students all day, every day, after a 20-year career of working first with only domestic students. I still love US born students, but my specialization for the last 13 years has been international students.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So today you have one more chance to advise our students. So we have another question in YouTube from IP. Can you tell please more about tools to explore a personality to determine what degree to choose?
Oh, thank you that you heard me. That is such a wonderful question, IP. So certainly here in the U.S., and I will need Miss Oksana's assistance with what Education USA offers or what your high school counselor might offer. But here in the U.S., there's a battery of tests. Oh, do we love tests? So everything to identify whether or not you're a thinker or a writer. Do you like working alone? Do you like working in groups? Myers-Briggs, strong interest personality test. We test our poor babies to death. No, I'm sorry. And so on, for example, CCBC's website is a free career interest inventory test. So certainly here in an American high school or an American college like mine, you can find career interest tests. We also have career centers. And let me say this as well. While I'm glad that you heard me around your gift and identifying and preparing, you'll change your mind. You won't marry the person you're dating either. But okay, that wasn't this talk. So the point is, most U.S. Citizens have 2.3 career changes. I was a banker once upon a time with 2 degrees in business. until I took the very last course in my MBA master's program in business in education. And then off I went with a 30-year career in college administration. Should have listened to my aunt. But back to the question. There are many career interest inventory tests on websites of U.S. colleges like my own, high school counselors here in the U.S. Please let us know how we can help. And the tests aren't perfect, they'll just give you a chance to think about what it is, dream about what it is that you'd like to be when you grow up, and you change your mind. Yeah. Right now, I'm working on a degree in history. Never mind. That's the next iteration. Still a teacher. Business, banking, education. I'm off now to Senegal in January because my real interest is in the African diaspora. So enjoy the journey, but begin by figuring out which plane you want to get on first.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I agree with you. Sometimes it happens. You need to change your mind when you finish the university, when you graduate. So, yeah. We have another question from Irina. My son is third year student of medicine in Tartu, Estonia. Can he transfer to study medicine in United States?
This is a wonderful question. Thank you for this question. So, what I'll share with any of you who are considering healthcare careers in the United States is that they are extremely competitive and highly regulated. By that, I mean, for example, to become a medical doctor in the United States, you're looking at a minimum of 12 years of study. Our students begin by first earning a baccalaureate degree, a bachelor's degree, a 4-year degree, often in chemistries, uh, any of the sciences. It doesn't have to be, but a strong emphasis in chemistry, biology, physics. This is a student who's excellent in science and math. I mean, you love it. I don't mean that you kind of like it. I mean that you are passionate about science and math. After earning the 4-year degree in a science related field, it doesn't have to be. My niece actually started off in psychology. Anyway, but if you have excellent skills in math and science, after earning a baccalaureate bachelor's degree, you will then apply and pray to be accepted in a medical school. Here in the state of Maryland, we have the top medical schools in the country, Johns Hopkins University and the University of Maryland. This is another 4 years of study if you are invited, and you'll only be invited to attend medical school if you have an excellent undergraduate GPA, if you score very well on a standardized test known as the MCAT, the Medical College Entrance Exam. There are essays to write, often interviews, competitive applicant pool. But if you are invited after your baccalaureate degree to attend medical school, that's another 4 years. Hold on, it gets even better. After you finish medical school, then you will complete at least another 4 years as a medical resident. This is the opportunity to work in hospitals, in clinics. This is the first chance we let you near live people. No, there are other opportunities, but you're looking at a total of 12 years of study to be a medical doctor in the United States. That said, back to our colleague's question, would a medical degree from Ukraine immediately transfer to a US medical degree? Not very likely. The advantage for the student who has medical training and experience, who's passionate in science and math, is that they will probably move very quickly through some of the courses at the baccalaureate level, but you will still need to attend medical school, residency, and pass additional tests to be licensed by the state where you plan to work. So if the goal is to be a medical doctor in the United States, you're still probably looking at close to 12 years of study. You might be able to do it quickly because of your experience, but that is the process to be a doctor in the United States. I hope I didn't assume and presume that your son's goal was to be a doctor here. I certainly do not know about the medical profession there in Ukraine.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it seems to me we have like the same long way to become a doctor in Ukraine. So you need to study for about 9 or 12 years. Yeah, that's it. So, and one more question from Irina about diplomas. Are diplomas in medicine from European universities accepted in US and vice versa?
While I don't know about vice versa, I will speak more generally about any college credit you take outside of the United States. So, here in the United States, to earn, for example, an associate's degree, like at my 2 year institution, the student needs to complete roughly 20 to 25 classes. To earn a bachelor's degree, the same student has completed 60 credits, roughly double that amount, about 40 classes, art, history, math, science, whatever is the student's major. When you plan to ask a university if they will accept your credits from any other university in the world, most will ask you to have those credits evaluated, those courses evaluated by private companies like World Education Services, WES, or Educational Credential Evaluators, ECE. Your transfer courses are always a guest at the institution where you are transferring to, because ultimately your degree in engineering, nursing, medicine will have the name of the institution where you attended. So that institution gets to choose whether or not they will take credits from another institution. It could even be another institution here in the US. The beauty of studying in the United States, and certainly here in the state of Maryland, is that we have written articulation agreements as to what will transfer. Here in the state of Maryland, it's called ArtSys. We literally have a system where I can put in math at CCBC and see how it will transfer to University of Maryland College Park. But the international course or credit has to be evaluated by an independent company. You do pay a fee, it does take time, and your Maryland or US institution can say yes or no based upon its equivalency to the coursework required to earn either the associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD. Does it happen? Yes, but you wouldn't expect an entire degree from outside the United States or from even another US institution to transfer fully to the degree granting institution. It's a credit, college credits from another college are a guest at the college that is giving you the degree.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much. So, one more question from Lisa. Please tell me, if a high school graduate prepares a visa in advance and finds a suitable educational institutions, how much savings should I take with me? It seems to me the question more about savings. Yeah, like how much money do usually students need if they decide to study in Maryland?
Thank you for the question. And so I hope I understand the student is asking how much does it cost? How much money to bring with you? How much to save?
Yeah, so it seems to me it's like how much is how much students do need cost money for education, like for studying,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
what additional savings should they bring with them? Yeah, like to cover some accommodation, maybe food. Yeah, like this.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, thank you for the question. So you will find, because it is a federal requirement, that each college must give you the estimated cost of studying for 1 year. It is part of being granted the F1 visa, as I explained. So at my own institution, CCBC, that amount is 26,411 US dollars. That includes tuition, an estimate for books, health insurance, living expenses. You must rent an apartment, eat some food, travel back and forth to campus. So each college for the international student will provide on their website an estimated cost for 1 year of study. That's a federal requirement, and that's a way to help you to prepare. Having more than that, of course, is essential because that's just 1 year of study. So if you plan to earn a 4 year degree, that number times four is a practical amount for you and your family to plan for, budget for, save. Are there some opportunities to work on a student visa? Some. The federal government says that you are allowed to work on campus part time, and many of our students do find summer employment on campus. So, again, looking at the cost that's listed on each college's website gives you a good estimate of how much you and your family will need to have earned or saved for 1 year of study. I hope that answer is helpful.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you so much. So, one more question from Camila. I want to study acting or theater arts. Maybe you have any recommendations for universities?
Wow, of course I do. And I'm going to invite you to use our search tool to take a look at all of the wonderful institutions in Maryland where you will find that everything from our flagship University of Maryland College Park. We also have the Maryland College of Art, MICA. Wonderful opportunities to study art in Maryland. Absolutely. So definitely want to encourage you to use the search tool. And as you identify particular universities and have questions, feel free to email me and I will guide you directly to the admissions officers of those colleges.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. I have one more question for you, Miss Nelly. So, could you please, like, shortly describe the perfect image of the student, like international student for your community college?
Oh, for me, the perfect student at any college is someone who's joyful, excited about their future. They know what they want to study and why. They are blessed to have the support of their family emotionally, financially. Um, uh, Even if there's an aunt here in the United States they can live with, my pleasure is to watch people find their gift. It has been so exciting to me, much more than banking, to watch students find their joy, their raison d'etre. You know, they are artists and they're mathematicians and they are nurses and they are historians. And it is so much fun to work with people who love what they do. Conversely, I'm heartbroken when people are stuck in a major job that they really don't like. So my joy is to watch you find your joy, and it has been for the last 30 some years. Thank you.
Wonderful. We have many comments and voice. Thank you so much from our viewers. And one more question. Do you offer online studying for international students? Like any
I
course?
can share with you at this time the person who's looking for a student visa will not be granted the opportunity to study entirely online. There are some opportunities to take a limited number of courses, but the nature of the way the federal government has structured the F1 visa at this point is the student does need to be in the United States. Again, you can take one or two courses from home, but ultimately, with the current federal regulations, the student would need to travel to the United States. During COVID, there were more opportunities to study abroad, but that was temporarily because of that little global pandemic. But you should plan to be in the United States if your goal is to earn a US degree at this time.
Wonderful. Thank you. Question from Anya. So, study Maryland institutions are only public schools?
Oh, no, no, I'm sorry if I was unclear. They are public and private institutions like Goucher, like Loyola. Yes, yes. And the difference is the structure and funding. The public institutions receive money from the state of Maryland. So often
Wonderful.
they are a little lower in cost.
Thank you so much. So it seems to me it was the last question, and we have also comments like thank you from Irina, who was asking about medicine and medical degree. And I would like to say thank you, Miss Nelly, for joining us today for this wonderful presentation, for this chat with our viewers, with our students. Thank you for joining. Any comments you would like to say, like at the end of our meeting?
Just thank you again, Ms. Oksana, for this opportunity. Thank you for your technical team. It is my privilege to talk with students every day. And while I hate the pandemic, this virtual opportunity gives me so many more opportunities to connect with you. Please do email us. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you again, Ms. Oksana.
Thank you so much, dear guests and viewers. We were very glad to chat with you. So join our next online events. And if you have any questions, just contact Education USA and we will gladly help you with all your questions. Thank you so much and see you next Thursday.